But do you feel this is a force? Like it's going to get bigger and better, and it's catching on?
Yeah, hugely. Like I'm just even talking with JFK and Holistic Health, trying to kind of bridge those two departments and try to make it kind of happen.
Yeah.
But no, it's a huge movement. There's a Society for the Arts in Healthcare, which is an international organization that is bringing together music therapists, art therapists, artists, musicians. So they define each professional.
Yeah.
But it's about bringing it together and how can this happen? And what the biggest thing right now to get things moving forward is hospitals need like qualitative analysis to say, why do we need to have this program? How can this help us? And it's the same as you would pitch anything to a hospital, help them save. It's like, well, if this kid doesn't need anesthesia, we're going to save you this much because you don't have to get an anesthesiologist, and they're successful without it. So if you hire us, we'll do that. That's what Child Life does. But with art, you can do it too. They know that when kids participate in art and play, that they need less medication for pain, they have shorter hospital stays, tend to heal more quickly, have less anxiety and depression. I mean, but it's like getting that now
you have
quantitatively.
To clinically get it though.
And how do you do that? Do you facilitate that, or how does that?
I'm speaking more about like the greater field.
Oh,
so
okay.
like at the conference,
yes.
Like I would love to be able to do that, and they are putting out sheets that like you give a kid at the beginning of the session. It's like a 10-question, like, how did you feel when you came in? How did you feel when you left? It's very simple and straightforward.
Yeah.
And then they're boiling it down into these like qualitative studies. And then trying to like build these reports so people can then take all of this information and take it to their administration and say, here,
we need funding.
This is a big deal. Do this.
Yeah.
So it's starting, but I really feel like it's like a wave that's building. That if like people can be on the forefront of it, it's so rich.
Yeah.
And all these people are out there doing this. It's like, how do we?
And it, for me, like art it's basic. It's like back to the basics.
Right.
It's like a no-brainer.
Right.
I mean, we all know that art heals. It's not. It's
right. That's what's so frustrating.
Even it bothers you to have to prove it.
Right. Yes, it bothers me to have to prove it. It's
I mean, we encounter that almost every day. We were just talking about that last night. How art is underappreciated. Yes. The artist is underappreciated. We have this woman that we have a constant relationship with in Australia, and she was selling a bunch of her work on her own, and she crashed because when she feels as though when the economy crashed, and she encountered that her friends and family abandoned her. And what her one sentence that stuck with me is, it's cool to hang out with an artist and say you have an artist friend, but you're not there when they really need you.
Right.
And it's like a cultural belief that it's like it's this cool thing, but it has no validation.
It has no.
It's a great extra.
Yeah, you have to find
a great like feather in your cap.
Right.
But it's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
They don't.
I need my doctor friend.
Right.
And I'm always going to need him to give me a consult.
Right.
Yeah.
There's lack of value or validation of its power.
So I guess in a hospital system, the only way you do that is sort of is follow their rules, right? And then do the survey, do the step by step, do the clinical analysis, right? Let's follow their rules. I mean, I think that would be the only way. And instead of saying what you really want to say, which is, "Are you an idiot?"
Right, you just kind of smile and say, "Okay, okay."
I'll collect that information.
I'm going to adhere to all that just for you. Yeah, okay, of course. And then you do it and follow through. And but the hard part then is because, at least for me, in this experience here. Is so you are the person doing both.
Yes.
So
it's a lot.
So you're the one that's like in that creative space. You already know the validity of it. You know how important it is. You see the need for it, and you're under the pressure just to get that done. And that's really what you want to do.
Right.
But in order to do that, you have to do all of this. So then that part of your brain, so the art, which often happens in lives of artists, takes the back seat to paying the bills, to getting the grant, to. So and that will there will always be another thing to do, another grant to write, another person to give the survey to, but that's what always seems to take precedence, and to cut out that time for art, whether it's even for yourself or to the kids, that takes back seat, and so it's like you almost need two people because it's such a split right down my brain, right brain, left brain. It's
definitely.
Like, wake up in the morning. I'm not thinking about what art am I going to get to the kid. I'm thinking about what grant deadline is next.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't really want to have to do that.
No. You don't want to, but in order to do what you want to do, you have to do that part.
That sucks.
It super sucks.
It sucks. I mean, it does. I deal with that at Lincoln Child Center a lot. You know what I mean? And it's and you don't get appreciated for it either. You know what I mean? All the grants you write, all the whatever you're doing, try to.
Well, that's a part of the artist that people don't know exists. Right.
The business administrator.
You have to have that. You have to, and people don't people think, you know, you go grab a cappuccino in the morning.
Right.
You,
We wish.
Right.
Yeah.
Put on your paint pants.
Put on your beret.
Yeah.
You
Right.
wake up at 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
Right.
And you just you think
I would
about,
love that.
You think about your painting all day and then you do it later.
Yeah, and you put one brush on it for 15 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it's the stigma, it's the romantic view of the artist, right?
Right.
And it's, you know.
I think we're going to slowly, I mean, that's one of my goals is to break it
that.
down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is to break down that. I think I view it as a barrier more than even than a stereotype. I think it is a barrier. I mean, that's why we're struggling getting funding.
Right.
Because people are like, art smart, you know, we don't need that.
Isn't that nice? Yeah.
It's fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it.
So ideally, what's the ideal? The total, like,
Ideally,
if you could have how much?
If I had 5 Haleys, there
Right.
would be the one that was the business one.
Yeah.
That would be producing all the brochures, doing all the donor outreach, following up on the grants, shaking hands, kissing babies, being the
Yeah.
politician. Right. There would be her. Then there gets to be the girl that like leads group art, that does wins, that does like debriefing, that does bereavement care, that does the whole, you know, looking at the whole care for the caregiver, because we talk about compassion fatigue around here a lot.
Compassion fatigue.
Taking care of the caregiver.
Yeah.
And there would be like knitting circles for the moms all the time. They could just always have a place to go get a cup of coffee and some tea away from the kids to get to have that group experience without having to worry about their kid being right there. Because lots of times inappropriate conversations happen around the kids.
Sure.
So it's like give the moms the space to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then give the community a place to come in and see how illness and art are affecting
Yes.
the community and how can they connect.
Yeah. And I'm going to take it back to the art therapist. You said that there's such a division. Like, do you think an art therapist would be into the Haley vision?
Yeah, absolutely. The one here particularly.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because that's a very important role too. Like what she does is hugely important.
Yeah.
Hugely. I mean, she can find out things that maybe they can't find out on a scan just from judging by how the way the kid paints with a paintbrush.
Right.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that's amazing and important.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a place for art therapists. We have a great music therapist here on staff that is
Yeah.
outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah, and that would be